Good morning and welcome to the Brick by Brick podcast with Ronald Pauleus, where we break down the principles that are needed to build a life worth living brick by brick. These principles are woven throughout the world. You can take a hold of them, you can use them. They're not something that's only the elect has purview to, or only these types of people can know about it. With this new day and age we live in, YouTube University, you can learn just about any. You could probably learn how to operate on somebody on YouTube. That doesn't mean you should, but you could. And I want to get real. I've been real. I've been sharing candidly and honestly throughout this podcast. And I want to talk about a week I had. This is a week back in February, and it was a tough week. I mean, this talk is no hype, no fluff, just the truth about slow, discouraging weeks, because you will have them. This week, let me paint it for you. It was extremely cloudy the whole week. I don't think I remember a day that was sunny or bright. It was foggy. No, not foggy. It was cloudy the whole week. It was cold the whole week. In fact, that week was the coldest week I've ever experienced here in Oklahoma. I've been here about, is it 5 or 6 years? And I've been here during winters. I've been here during summers. I moved here and I've been here consistently for about 4 years. And that was the coldest week I've experienced. It was 0 degrees, 2 degrees on one day. I think the high was 4 or something to that effect, or 12. And I'm from Miami, Florida, where it's shiny and bright and the sun is blazing in glory every single day. And there's beaches, there's palm trees. I mean, it's amazing. Some people don't like the humidity. I do. It's nice down there. And that week, it was cold. It was and it's real windy here in Oklahoma. And it was so windy that the feel on one of those days, the feel was negative 20 degrees. I'm a Miami boy, man. What am I doing in negative 20 degrees? What do you do when you are in a situation like that where you're stuck? It's so slow, so cold. And I there was one day, mind you, I'm out typically 5-6 hours driving, knocking on doors, talking to sellers, having appointments, having conversations with people who want to sell, trying to find somebody or an heir of somebody who's passed away and now the house is vacant and the heir doesn't know that they can sell it and potentially get some cash out of it. And I'm trying to get hold. I'm usually on an adventure doing this real estate sale. And I have a week where it is there was one day it was sleeting and snowing, and it ice rained first. There was ice rain, and then it snowed. So if you go on the road thinking, "Oh, it's just snow," nope, deception. Under the snow is a blanket of ice rain that's coated the floor. So now you're slipping and sliding. You're ice skating out in Oklahoma on four wheels. And so, the negative 20 feel. There was one day There was one day my wife, Joanna, and my 13-month-old Ava got more outside time than I did. That whole 24 hours, they got more outside time than I did. I went out to go take out the trash, came right back in. My wife, Joanna, says, "Oh, the birds are cold." And we have this little seat that we've given Ava to be able to look out the window and see the birds, and she loves it. And she's just so precious and cute. And Joanna said, "Well, we can't let the birds out there freeze to death. They need to eat. Eating will warm them up." So she goes out there with Ava. They're all dressed as dressed could be. They're all warm, as warm could be. And she goes out there and she's filling up the bird feeder. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I'm not going out there. I'm not going out there. Not going out there. So what do you do on those weeks? What do you do? James Clear said this: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Now, what does that mean? Let me see if I can say it like this. Goals are the things that we set, we're enthusiastic about, we're excited and pumped. Oh yeah, I'm gonna run a half marathon. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make $100,000 this year for the first. Yeah, we're pumped about it. But it's the systems, it's those daily routines, those daily habits that we do that allow us to reach the goals. You can want to make $100,000 this year all you want for the first time, but if you don't have a business, if you don't have a plan, if you don't get a new job, if you don't get promoted, I mean, how are you making it? You can want to run a marathon all you want, but if you don't train for it, you've not jogged in your life for 10 years since you were in elementary. Well, how are you going to just one day jog for what, 4 hours? 2 hours? And that's at a 7-minute pace. 7 minute a mile. The systems you have are what allow you to continue to go. And what I want to talk about today is the power of discipline, the power to be able to continue to go on sad, depressing days. Now, I was just about depressed. I was sad. It was like, oh, the real estate even was slow. It's winter time. Lots of people have not been wanting to sell. It's kind of it's been a situation. It's been crazy. But I still made calls. These are my what they call KPIs, key performance indicators. Still had conversations with people. Had more calls this week, more follow-up calls. And so I had to keep going. In fact, the 3 days or 4 days I wasn't out knocking doors because of how I think it was 3 days. I wasn't out knocking doors because of how cold it was and the ice that was on the floor. I mean, there were several accidents I was seeing on the news being reported. And I said, I'm not risking my life for that. It's not worth it. And then what I did was I doubled back on Friday and Saturday. The roads were manageable, they were better. And I said, okay, instead of knocking 20 doors today, I'm knocking 40. And I did that both days. What you got to be able to do is continue the momentum. When the excitement phase is, I think something I want to highlight. When the excitement phase, what's left? The enthusiasm gets you started, it gets you going, it gets you pumped, it gets you believing. But it's the discipline that keeps you going. It's a discipline that allows you to get up at 5 a.m. when you were super excited the night before because that next day you're going to make a trip and network with someone who's going to propel your business and help you grow. And it's also discipline that keeps you going on that Tuesday when you get up and the week before has been extremely horrible. You've had no sales. You've gotten no new customers. You are demoted. And now you got to get up on Tuesday and do it all over again. It's the discipline. What's the difference between those 2 days I described for you? One was a day of excitement. They were looking forward to networking with somebody. The other day was a day, it was more reflection on how horrible the week was before. Not good, not increase in sales. And so it's the discipline that allows you, it's the systems that allow you to keep going when the energy has faded. Everyone has a big goal. Do you have the systems to support the big goal? Professional athletes don't train when they feel like it. Or should I say only when they feel like it. When I was growing up in elementary, my day and age, we would say Kobe when we made a basketball shot. Throwing paper away in the trash. Kobe. The generation before me, they were saying Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. Now, the generation that follows after me, I understand they're saying Steph Curry. With Kobe's story, I understand the dude had insane work ethic. He was insane with sharpening his craft. He'd get up, he'd ball, he'd shoot, he'd go to the gym and practice one shot. He'd practice a half-court shot, 5 seconds on the timer, and practice that over again until he got it. There were absolutely days he did not want to go to the gym, but he continued because he wanted to get a ring. He had a goal. When the excitement fades, what's left? Is it discipline? Or is it, I don't want to do that anymore? You see, he got up at 4 a.m. to train. Feelings will fail you. On the day you want them to most show up, I will be enthusiastic if I act enthusiastically. The, the day you want them to show up, they won't. And the question is, what will you do? Will you burn it all and just be like, I'm done? Or will you continue to build the life worth living brick by brick? And that's why I want to highlight this. It is so crucial to have a why. Not a why that is superficial. I want to be able to buy any Starbucks coffee I want. Okay, well, what if Starbucks goes out of business? Is your why gone? You got to have a why that's meaningful, that's anchored, that's real. Because on those days where you are sad and depressed, like I was this February or last February, I had my why. I saw my wife feeding birds, putting bird seed out there. She loves birds. We saw a cardinal. We had crows and robins. She loves seeing them. And she wants our little 13-month-old to see them too. I want to have money so she can buy bird seed. And I had to get up those days and I had to make my calls. And because I was behind because of the bad weather, I had to make more. I had to make up the work. I had to make the contacts. I had to go knock the doors. Cody Sanchez said it beautifully. Be careful the mountain you choose to climb. Make sure it's worth it. Be careful the mountain you choose to climb. Make sure it's worth it. It's a life that's why I qualify my phrase. Build a life brick by brick that's worth living. Worth living, because there are some lives that are not worth living. There are some lives, you'll get to the end of that race, you'll get that prize, and you'll realize it was a prize not worth holding up at all. Discipline over feelings. I also want to highlight that there's rewards if you stay in the game. There's going to be a bad week here and there. There's going to be a bad month. There's going to be a bad year here and there. And if you live long enough, probably a bad decade. But stretched over a period of time, if you continue, if you're disciplined, if you are climbing a mountain that truly is worth it, there is a reward at the end. There is. It's a farmer. Think of one who plants a seed in one season, doesn't harvest it until much later. Or a farmer that plants and fall comes and it's time to harvest and the seed they planted didn't sprout. And so they decided, well, I'll keep planting, or I won't plant this time around. It didn't sprout for some reason. And next season comes, oh, there goes that apple tree I planted. There goes that thing coming through. There's rewards if you keep on going. When you plant seeds, you get fruit. Seeds produce. Actions produce. Keep at it. Allow discipline to take you through. Say to yourself, I'm not failing. This is a season of planting. I'm going to harvest soon. There will be a reward. I'll keep pushing through. And so, how is it for you? How for you listening? How do you push through tough weeks, tough months, tough years? Focus on your system, not just your goals. It's not about motivation. It's not about enthusiasm, although that greatly helps. That greatly helps. This week, I'm on track to get 3 contracts. A couple weeks ago, it was pretty cold and cloudy, and I said to my wife, I don't know when the next contract's coming, and things are pretty slow. Spring's on the horizon, and all of a sudden, people are wanting to sell. I'm on track for 3 contracts this week. I locked one up Monday. I had an appointment today, but she had to reschedule because her work won't let her off for lunch for some reason. So we're scheduling tomorrow. She's ready to sell. We just have to walk the property and see in person. Have another person who said to himself, I don't know if I can still do anything with it. It's in foreclosure. And I said, yeah, I could help you if I could. I said this rather. If I could help buy it, if I could do something, will you be interested in that? I was like, yeah. I'm on track to get 3 contracts. After a week where I was depressed and sad, and my wife was outside of the house more than I was, and I usually am driving 4 to 5 hours a day. Besides on Sundays, I rest on Sundays. Focus on your systems, not just your goals. Show up no matter how you feel. If you rely on feelings, you'll quit, because you'll get to the bottom, you'll be sad and depressed. Make sure the mountain is worth climbing. Before the grind, ask yourself, am I building something that truly matters? Am I building something that truly matters? So here's my challenge to you. If it's a slow season, keep going. Keep planting. Let those seeds find the ground. Keep it up. If you're questioning, go back to the why. Why are you building it? Why are you building it? Is it a life worth living? Maybe it's not, and you got to pivot. That's okay. Go back to the why. Don't quit. Success is built brick by brick, day by day. Stay in the game if it's a life worth living.